people like to stop in and kind of ask about, you know, what is this? I see it says mobile boutique on the side. Definitely, I love when people come onto the truck and find a piece that they cannot live without. That's my favorite, when people are like, I love this.
In my mind, I felt like an empty shell. I didn't feel like I had a spirit. The common theme in the book at the end of every story is you are special and strong and you did nothing wrong.
When you get grown, I'm gonna walk the red carpet because of you.
I normally don't go around hugging people, but it means a lot.
The CAR-T procedure was just made available for patients this year.
All the cancer cells from what I have along with me are on nerves, everything. So as soon as the pain's gone, I know it's working.
From 3 News Now and the Omaha World-Herald, this is Omaha Sunday Morning with Jennifer Griswold.
Good morning and thanks for joining us this Sunday. I'm Jennifer Griswold. From afar, it might look like a food truck, but upon closer inspection, you won't find goodies to eat on this particular truck. Instead, it's a store on wheels. Omaha World-Herald photojournalist Megan McGill takes us inside the Hello Ruby truck.
I've always been one to shop all the time, even like when I'm home in Omaha or on vacation. It's just something fun that I love to do. So I've always been interested in, you know, buying clothes that like can set the mood for your day. When I'm popped up places, definitely people like to stop in and kind of ask about, you know, what is this? I see it says mobile boutique on the side. So I think people who have never heard or seen the concept think it's interesting. A lot of people say, so it's like a food truck, and I'm like, yes, it's like a food truck. I wanted something that was meaningful for the name, so we just got a dog named Ruby. She's a mini Labradoodle. My husband was like, what about Hello Ruby? And I was like, I really love that. I just love the mobile concept because I can go to my customers, so I can do pop-ups and partner with different local businesses. I can go to events that people are already at, and then, you know, the cost of rent isn't an aspect, so I can keep my prices more affordable. Our website has our list of events, so if you're wondering where we'll be at, it's just shophelloruby.com. Retail has changed so much in the last 5 years, and it will continue to change, but that's why I love you know, this concept. It's nice to have a small set of inventory for my customers. It's not like, you know, this huge area, so the pieces that you find are truly unique. A lot of it is stuff that is, you know, in style right now, so I have a lot of that. Probably 80% is contemporary, and then the other 20% are like classics. Definitely, I love when people come onto the truck and find a piece that they cannot live without. That's my favorite, when people are like, I love this. That's what I love when I shop. But I think just the whole concept of the mobile boutique, the fashion truck aspect, is super fun because, number one, they've probably never seen it, specifically in Omaha, so they've probably never been on a fashion truck, so that's what I like, to take a piece of that with them.
And she mentioned this Hello Ruby post where it will be on its website. That's shophelloruby.com. Before the first day of class, Omaha Public Schools is making sure its busing operations make the grade. Last week, OPS invited us to check out a dry run at Druid Hill Elementary. The district and Student Transportation of America are working to avoid a repeat of the busing crisis during the 2016-2017 school year. Officials want to make sure they have enough staff and drivers are familiar with their routes.
For the dry runs, we send the drivers out with the actual route that they'll be doing next week. And the goal is to stop at each house, each address that's on the route, and to make sure the timing works well and that they can arrive at the school on time.
The district said buses ran on time during the test, but if some routes are lagging, there is still time to make changes. School starts on Wednesday. In Council Bluffs, the 712 initiative, which aims to create a sense of community, used National Night Out this week to unveil a new tool. It's the Block Party Trailer. The hope is that better neighborhood relations lead to a reduction in smaller type crimes. 3 News Now reporter Alex McClune with more on the party and the purpose.
This summer, the 712 initiative in Council Bluffs put together this starter pack on wheels for your block party. Inside, it has everything to get the party going, with coolers, tables and chairs, along with games for the kids. It's 712's goal to build neighborhood relationships.
Through that, we hope that communication happens, and then the little problems that happen day to day are easier to solve because you feel like you can just approach your neighbor instead of, complain on the internet.
The Fairmont Park Neighborhood Association is one of the first to try it out after already having a great turnout at a block party earlier this year without it. Sherry Hansen saw even more folks Tuesday night thanks to the essentials.
And we had such a great outcome. People we haven't seen in a while. We have renters in the neighborhood and you don't always get to know them. So we got to meet some of the new renters. It's just a great way to meet your neighbors and to stay in touch with the ones that you don't get to see because you get busy with life.
More people showed up as the evening progressed. Neighbors were able to just walk down the street, grab some food, and get a seat at the table.
Just went and picked it up and brought it, pulled it onto the street and just started unpacking instead of, everybody having to drag stuff from their house. So it's really nice to have the trailer this year.
We're getting closer to fall, so we're running out of weekends for block parties. Contact the 712 initiative for more information. Zebra mussels spotted in a popular lake, and the invasive species can cause quite a few problems. They cut up your feet, mess up your motor, and can change the food chain in a lake. We take a look at what's being done to deal with the species at Lake Cunningham. The City of Omaha Parks Department, along with state experts, have a real nuisance on their hands. They've discovered zebra mussels at Lake Cunningham and now must decide how to deal with them. They can educate the public, ban boats on the lake, or drain the lake altogether. 3 News Now reporter John Kipper spoke with boaters and looks at the options.
Good place for it to cling on to.
Don Annis is meticulous on how he checks his boat after using it at Lake Cunningham. He checks the motor, the carpeting underneath, and everything in the boat that touched the water. But despite his best efforts, adult zebra mussels have found their way to Lake Cunningham. They likely came into the water after latching on to another boat.
Can educate, 99% of them, but if we have one guy that doesn't care or hasn't listened, that it only takes one person.
The Nebraska Game and Parks Commission and the City of Omaha now have 3 options for the lake: an educational push, a boat ban, or draining the lake, which was done at Lake Zorinsky in 2010.
It's a huge inconvenience, to a lot of boaters and anglers and other users of the park, and that's definitely something we're considering.
Annis is fine with a plan to drain Cunningham Lake. He just wants it done differently than Zorinsky.
If you're going to drain it, you got to drain it totally. If you leave a stream of water like they did in Zorinsky, well, that's only going to slow it down.
If you're caught transporting zebra mussels, your boat could be impounded and you could be fined $500. August started off warmer than average, and that trend continues into the week ahead for Nebraska and Iowa. While Omaha will see a couple of rain chances this week, rain is more likely to our south and less likely to our north. A man trying to save a kitten is now recovering after needing rescue himself. The cat was stuck in a 25-foot deep ventilation shaft below a steel grate. 2 men lowered a ladder to try to reach the kitten. The ladder gave way when one of the men, Peter Nelson, stepped down and he fell. Crews used a rope to get down the hole and hoist him. This was outside the Omaha World-Herald building. Paramedics took him to the hospital. Several people, including Animal Control Officer Sarah Trant, watched the attempted rescue and the fall.
The situation itself isn't really unusual, but fortunately we don't usually have accidents like this happen. it was pretty hard to watch.
The man is now recovering. He's in fair condition. Crews were able to rescue the kitten. The Nebraska Humane Society tweeted out this picture of the cat they named Harold. The message says, "Peter, thank you for helping me. I'm sad that you got hurt. I hope you make a speedy recovery. Love, Harold." Out of personal tragedy, a movement centered on kindness. The Ralston superintendent and his wife started the #BeKind campaign after their son committed suicide. We'll show you how all area schools are now spreading this message, the powerful way they hope to bring students together when Omaha Sunday Morning continues. After the superintendent of Ralston Public Schools lost his son to suicide, he wanted to do something positive out of such a terrible pain and loss. As the new school year approaches, he's leading a trend called Be Kind. Now every metro school district has adopted the concept and is running with it. 3 News Now reporter John Kipper takes us in the classroom to learn more.
I didn't know where it would go, but I knew that it's hard to argue about being kind to each other.
After pushing #BeKind in Ralston schools, Dr. Mark Adler was approached by Millard Superintendent Jim Sutphin about adopting it. Adler said of course, and Sutphin, along with the rest of the metro schools, ran with it.
And it has caught on like wildfire, and it's all across our city. It's in every school district in the metropolitan area, including Council Bluffs.
The metro schools are emphasizing the hashtag with their teachers and eventually students in hopes they'll live by the simple message.
You know, how often do we tell kids, don't bully, don't be mean to somebody, don't pick on your sister. Instead, let's come at it from a positive angle of let's be kind.
School districts have put the phrase on t-shirts, and at Westside, they're made and designed by students.
It's kind of bringing the schools together in a way, because then they all share this one message and then everyone knows about it, and I think it can really spread out to like Omaha itself.
Westside is not stopping there. They also encourage students and staff to write cards to people who they feel need a pick-me-up.
Something very simple, but sometimes that's all you need when you're having a rough day, is just that word of encouragement from someone else that you're doing a great job.
While each school has their own way of participating, they'll all join together on August 24th for #BeKind Day.
It has to be what fits. The thing that I like about it is there's no prescribed you must do this or that. Do what you want, grow it as big or as little as you want.
Currently 35 school districts are using the hashtag in some form. Adler would like to see that number continue to rise.
I do hope it grows. I know there are places across Nebraska that would like to be a part of this.
This year, one school took the Be Kind campaign to the baseball diamond. Werner Park is normally packed with baseball fans, but on Thursday, cheering teachers and staff members from Papillion La Vista schools took over. The annual event is a way to celebrate the start of a new school year. Kids go back to class on Tuesday. Ice Cube, he's an actor, rapper, producer, writer, and now he's started his own basketball league. How he's getting former stars back on the court. Coming up, we have a preview of what you'll see on CBS Sunday Morning. CBS Sunday Morning has a great lineup as always. Today we're chatting with Tracy Smith about what's in store. And hey Tracy, so you talked to Ice Cube. He's an actor, rapper, producer, writer, and now he started his own basketball league. What's that about?
That's right, Jenny. It's called the Big Three, and it's 3-on-3 basketball like you might have played when you were a kid, except these are not kids. These are retired NBA players, and Ice Cube has given them a second chance to play under the big lights again. So I asked him about that. We have a clip. You know, a lot of these guys, when they retired, still had the juice. Is there something to being able to give them that chance?
Man, that's one of the best parts. You know, all the thank yous I get from guys who said, man, I was lost, was looking for something to do. You know, I just imagine, you know, you 34, 33, somebody tell you it's over. You can't do what you do anymore. You know, basically beat it. So if you kept your game up, we have a place for you, and that's a great feeling.
It's also a lot of fun to watch. They actually have a 4-point shot that you have to hit from 30 feet, and it's amazing to watch these guys make it. And actually, at one point, I asked Ice Cube if he could make it, and you have to watch the piece to see if he does.
Oh, sounds like a lot of fun. You also took him back to the Hollywood Walk of Fame. What was that experience like?
It was great. You know, he got his star last year. He hadn't been back since. And so to walk with him on these streets that he used to take the city bus down on the way to school, he never even dreamed that he'd get this. So it was amazing to see that. What was also incredible was watching the crowds that formed around us. It was phenomenal. I've never seen anything like it. And he's incredibly gracious with everybody.
Oh, very cool. And Lee Cowan has a fascinating story this week about exoskeletons, how they're helping people walk again. What's that?
That's right. So there are these robotic devices that allow paralyzed people to walk. And you can imagine that it's life-changing. This alleviates so many medical problems. But as Lee found out, the problem is actually getting these devices to the people. They're expensive and they're tough to get. So he looks into that for our cover story.
All right, looking forward to those stories. Tracy, thanks so much. Those stories and more right here at 8 o'clock. And we'll be right back. An Omaha firefighter was injured while riding a bull for charity at the Sarpy County Fair last weekend. He suffered a head injury when the bull threw him off. Tom Bartek has been riding for years, donating his winnings to the Muscular Dystrophy Association. 3 News Now reporter Megan Hahn spoke with a close friend about his passion.
Tom's one of the guys that would genuinely give you the shirt off his back, would do anything for you. Is a very caring individual.
Tom Bartek raises money for charity through an unusual hobby, bull riding.
Tom enjoys it, and despite the firehouse interventions and all the talk from his family and friends, this is something that he feels strongly about doing, and so he gets out there, buckles up, ties in, and puts his helmet on and gets after it.
Bartek got started in 2012 and was hooked ever since, raising more than $15,000 for the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
He is determined, most definitely, most definitely.
A charity Bartek also worked with through the Omaha Fire Department. But on Saturday, Bartek was hurt.
So he's had a couple 8-second rides, and from the people that I've talked to, he was well on his way to an 8-second ride this time, and unfortunately the bull had bigger and better plans for him, I guess.
It's not the first time Bartek's been hurt while helping others. Back in 2008, Bartek was hit by an SUV while helping crash victims on an icy patch of roadway along I-80.
I remember being on all fours, not being able to catch my breath at all, and the next thing I remember is there was a group of firemen there to help me.
Now the firefighter's family hopes the community will help pick up the reins during his recovery through donations to the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
Tom's such a great guy and cares so much about everybody else, and he'd be discouraged to think that people were worrying about him when all he wants to do is help the kids with the MDA.
Megan Hahn, 3 News Now.
People have been donating to MDA all week. Tom had a $2,000 goal this year. He has raised well over $10,000 so far. The Off It Air show is in town this weekend, and if you've missed the action so far, there's still time. The Defenders of Freedom Air Show wraps up today at Offutt Air Force Base. The lineup includes the F-22, F-35, the RE/MAX jump team, and so much more. Of course, there'll be food, even booths related to STEM, that's science, technology, engineering, and math subjects. The event runs from 9 to 5. The Sarpy County Sheriff's Office has a new set of wheels on the road with a very different look. Check out the new Tribute Patrol Cruiser. The Cruiser has the seals of all branches of the military. The Sheriff's Department tweeted out this photo out at Offutt Air Force Base. They say the Cruiser is a way to show respect to men and women who have served or are currently serving our country. A book on beautiful butterflies carries a big message for our smallest community members. When Omaha Sunday Morning continues, we introduce you to the author who's hoping her book will teach children that it's okay to be different.
One small step with robotics, this Sunday morning.
A new children's book is focused on a butterfly, but the little insect is helping spread a big message. The book is helping young people understand mental illness and that being different is okay. The message, butterflies come in thousands of varieties, just like people. Omaha World-Herald visual journalist Megan McGill spoke with the author.
Butterflies signify mental illnesses. all different types of butterflies. They're all beautiful. They're animated, they're vibrant in color, but they're all different. They're the same, but they're all different. I was laying down and God said, and I was being so hard on myself, I'm like, I'm sick, I can't. It was a depressive episode that comes with PTSD. And I said, God, why am I here? I just want to die. And God said, help people in your pain. I said, how am I going to do that? And he said, you can write. I was sexually abused by an older relative. I was 5 years old when it started. I had flashbacks of, the things that people said and did. And I felt captive in my mind. I felt like an empty shell. I didn't feel like I had a spirit.
For a person that had done struggled and done seen struggle in her life, not just with her, but siblings, mommy, and for her to bring me this book and when I seen her name, that's what made me cry. Not the book, but when I seen my baby name, it was a blessing.
There's different characters with different stories. What helped me with the stories is I seen other kids have mental health issues I didn't know they had until I became an adult and realized what it was. And I just wrote stories if they were children, what they would have said and how they would have said it. The common theme in the book at the end of every story is you are special and strong and you did nothing wrong.
I knew she was gonna do something when she was little, and I told her, if you remember, when you get grown, I'm gonna walk the red carpet because of you.
Very few people were at that stage where the world as we know it was closed to her. If you could take us back to that stage and you said, okay, this is gonna be the future author of this book and other projects, I probably would have been rather skeptical. I would have been like, well, if this person can get to the point where they can walk out the door, then that'll be fantastic. We've passed the door now, and she's well on her way, and the world is going to be a better place because of it.
Just like my book says, you are special and strong and you did nothing wrong. You can fly, you can be free. You are not in a jar. You can be free.
Powerful and important message. That book is available on Amazon. It's a bird, it's a plane, no, it's Superman and his friends swooping in to put a smile on the faces of kids at Children's Hospital in Omaha. The group took a break from fighting crime to fight some grime. The superheroes scaled the hospital, scrubbing dirty windows, and look at this video. They stopped inside too to take pictures, give hugs, high fives. And it's not just the patients that get in on this fun. Their siblings shared in the joy of the surprise too. Love to see that. A Last Chance Therapy provides new hope for a cancer patient. He says CAR T-cell therapy did what chemotherapy and bone marrow transplants could not. Now doctors say it could help others. 3 News Now reporter John Kipper has more on this new treatment.
Just going to do your exam here, make sure we don't have any new lymph nodes.
Fred Peach beat non-Hodgkin's lymphoma once, but 5 years later, the disease came back. He underwent chemo and even a bone marrow transplant in Kansas, but doctors still told him his treatment was failing.
I went in and it didn't work. So I still had the full cancer. It was still there, everything.
So Peach came to Nebraska Medicine to undergo a new procedure called CAR T-cell therapy. Right before his procedure, his cancer flared up in his abdomen, putting him in extreme pain. But once the treatment began, that pain and his cancer began to vanish.
All the cancer cells from what I have wrong with me are on nerves, everything. So as soon as the pain's gone, I know it's working. Because I can feel the pain actually leaving my body.
His intuition was correct. Just a few weeks ago, he came in for another visit.
Dr. Vos told me it was in remission, and I just started crying. And now they have to accept hugs from me because I normally don't go around hugging people, but it means a lot.
The CAR-T procedure was just made available for patients this year. The treatment modifies existing cells from a patient, puts the cells back into the patient's body, and then those modified cells fight the cancer cells. Dr. Julie Vos says the treatment is considered a last resort because its long-term effects are still being researched.
It's too new. We don't know for sure what the long-term outcome of this is. It's only been around a few years, and so we don't have 10, 20-year information to know that.
Pete says he has plenty of living left to do and has the CAR-T to thank.
And I would have died. And how they said it is if without the CAR-T, I didn't have a chance, and if the CAR-T does not work, all they could do is make me comfort.
On the other side, it was a couple inches longer, so I couldn't see it what she was doing.
Just amazing. Currently, this treatment is just for patients with specific types of blood cancer, but Dr. Vos hopes it can be expanded to include other types in the future. It's a popular health trend around the world, but one follower noticed Omaha was lacking options. So she decided to take it into her own hands, opening the Grove Juicery and Wellness Cafe with the hopes of giving everyone access to the power of raw juices. Omaha World-Herald visual journalist Zach Long takes us inside.
I started seeing this wellness trend emerge, and so I was thinking in the back of my head, wellness. That was always kind of stuck with me. And I myself have been a consumer of this product for years. I would seek it out on the road and just noticed it started becoming more and more than just a few juiceries here and there, and then seeing the whole trend kind of come together. So when I came back to Omaha, I realized it just wasn't existing here at all. So that was kind of my first step that, I think something like this needs to be here, and I think the market was ready for it. As cliche as it sounds, that this food is medicine and that this is healing.
The juicery is near 24th and Farnham. It's open most days until 5 o'clock. When local animal rescue groups found out about a high number of dogs being put down in Oklahoma, they offered to go save the pups. We'll introduce you to the sweet animals. Some will be looking for homes in Omaha. An Omaha rescue group is teaming up with 4 others from the Midwest to save dozens of dogs. Overcrowding at a kennel in Tulsa, Oklahoma is leading to dogs being put down. 3 News Now reporter Alexa Ray looks at the local effort to bring some animals here.
The more we can save, the better it is.
About 1 week ago, workers at Tulsa Animal Welfare in Oklahoma contacted Muddy Paws Second Chance Rescue, alerting them to the alarming rate of euthanasia at the shelter. About 1/3 of the dogs who come into the rescue are euthanized due to the lack of space.
They were having to put down dogs at a rate of 20, 30, and one day even 50 dogs were put down just in that one shelter.
Spokesperson for Muddy Paws Rescue, Lori Jenkins, says that's when she knew she had to step in. So she rounded up 4 other rescues. Little White Dog, All Hounds on Deck, For Love of Dog, and Mending Spirits Animal Rescue all offered to take in as many as they could. So far, between the 5 rescues, 40 dogs have been tagged to be transported from Tulsa to Omaha, the majority of them puppies. Jenkins says overcrowding in shelters is common across Oklahoma and the South in general, but the problem can spread anywhere.
If you don't spay and neuter, the shelters get full and this situation arises no matter where you are in the country.
Candy Bremer with rescue group All Hounds on Deck says that the rescue business never stops.
Rescue's like trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon when there's a hurricane.
But rescue organizations say they wouldn't have it any other way.
Bringing them into our homes is the best thing we can do for these guys.
Because the more lives they can save, the better. The dogs will arrive in Omaha Saturday. They will receive any necessary medical treatment, then they will go home with their foster families before being up for adoption.
And some really cute dogs there. Hopefully they find great homes. A canine on the force for about a year has a unique trick. He can escape from almost any kennel. That led Omaha First Responders Foundation to step in and come up with a new kennel in the name of a dog that died on the job. 3 News Now reporter Megan Hahn has the story.
Canine Officer Jack earned his nickname Houdini through his escape acts, but it appears he may have to retire that nickname thanks to a new kennel from the First Responders Foundation. Canine Officer Jack is determined.
Until I got it reinforced on the bottom, he would have been able to crawl underneath it.
To escape from just about everything.
On the kennels, he'd be able to push it and bend it like that to the point where he escaped. He's able to force these open.
Finding a way to pry open the door or squeeze through an opening.
Your dog got out of 2 different gates and he had the run of the office for 20 minutes before I found him.
Canine Jack and Officer Matt McKinney are partners.
Good boy.
Working together for about a year. And in that time, Jack has done the near impossible.
Knowing his history, I reinforced it with bungee cords. Heard a loud popping noise. Come out to find he was able to push hard enough to pop those metal posts out. The kennel completely intact, but he's outside of the kennel.
The Omaha First Responders Foundation came up with a fix for Jack's escape act.
And it's got 4 additional latches to tighten down just to reinforce it.
An $800 crate with a special design.
We're more relaxed when we can go out to dinner or go to the store and know that he's safe and we're not going to come home to a completely dismantled house.
The kennel was paid for through the Kobus Memorial Fund. Canine Officer Kobus was shot and killed in 2016 during a standoff. And Officer McKinney was Kobus's partner before the dog's death.
The canine patrol will tell you that you know, they're their partner. They're literally the partner that they live with, that they do everything with. And these dogs are so well trained to, you know, do whatever task is asked of them and not question it.
Now Kobus's legacy will live on through his canine counterpart. Canine Officer Jack has had the new kennel for a few weeks now, and so far we're happy to report there have been no escapes. Reporting from Omaha, I'm Megan Hahn, 3 News Now.
You can just tell that dog has a lot of energy. Some kids near 31st and Parker in North Omaha received a big surprise this week. A new basketball hoop thanks to local first responders. It's called Operation Nets. Police, sheriff's deputies, and firefighters are making the rounds, replacing nets, hoops, and basketballs in neighborhoods across the city. 3 News Now reporter Andrea Braswell has the story.
A few kids near 31st and Parker got a huge surprise today. Omaha police and firefighters, along with Douglas County Sheriff's deputies and Coalition RX, delivered a new basketball hoop.
When we saw nets at the late spring, early summer that were tattered and needed replacement, we would replace the net and then we would throw the kids a ball. And it's kind of grown a little bit from there.
It's not just giving kids better sports equipment to play on. It's helping law enforcement build better relationships in the community.
What we want the youth to do is be able to see us and interact with us. Come up to us, talk to us, approach us in our vehicles, ask us questions.
The Omaha Fire Department is also in on it.
We're just not here in their time of need. We're here to help them out whenever they need it as well, whether it just be hanging out, talking to somebody.
Letting area youth know they can trust their first responders.
Youth engagement is important. The relationships we have with our kids in our community are important. They have to understand what law enforcement is here for and that we're trying to do everything we can to make sure that they're successful.
Jaden Mays says he's thankful for this new hoop.
Sometimes when I don't want to play on this one, I can play on that one.
And admires his local first responders.
Because they gave us stuff that, that we needed.
It's all donation based. The community can donate sports equipment at all Omaha police precincts and some fire stations, as well as the Douglas County Sheriff's Office.
We're going to have some drop-off sites for the public to be able to come and drop any balls or nets off at the station.
What a great idea. Great to see them helping out. They look like brown needles or your evergreens, but these are camouflage caterpillars called bagworms. It's too late to spray for them now, but we'll show you how to get rid of them or prepare if you don't want them around next year. Now a look at what's happening this week in Omaha. It's move-in week at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Most students will move in Thursday or Friday, but early arrivals like band and ROTC students will start moving in tomorrow. Kids across Metro are heading back to school too. On Wednesday, the Million Father March will welcome students at Mount View Elementary to kick off the school year. And next Saturday, the Elkhorn South High School Marching Band kicks off the school year with an event that brings music and fun to the streets of the local neighborhoods. The third annual Hats Off to the Community Parade takes place this year on Saturday, August 18th. That's from 9 until noon. For more information on these events and many more events this week, take a look at the community calendar on omaha.com. You may have seen them hanging on branches of your evergreen trees. The number of bagworms around the area is growing. Meteorologist Audra Moore on what they are and what you should do about the pests.
If you're like me, you may have always thought these tiny brown pods are just little pine cones. Turns out that's not quite the case. They're actually home to one of the area's pests, bagworms. Bagworms are typically found in different types of evergreen trees and other plants used in windbreaks. UNL Extension entomologist Jonathan Larson says these caterpillars are good at blending into their surroundings.
And what they do is they eat the leaves, but they'll also collect parts of them and spin it into some silk, which they use to construct the tough bag that's around their body.
Bagworms may be good at blending in, but there are signs to look for on your evergreen trees.
If it's an evergreen tree, you'll see bronzing, and if you look closely, you'll see the actual bags hanging in the tree.
The best way to get rid of bagworms will involve some manual labor.
You can take them off the tree, throw them in a bucket of soapy water and destroy them. Don't just throw them on the ground. They'll crawl somewhere else and get back up on the plant.
It's too late to spray trees now, but next year will be a better time to get ahead and protect your trees from bagworms.
Spray the tree with BT in the early part of the year, like late May, early June.
And if left untreated, these bagworms can kill a plant or tree in about 3 to 5 years. Reporting in Omaha, Audra Moore, 3 News Now.
Even though bagworms are annoying, they will not harm you. Think you can sum up a cartoon with a clever caption? Now's your chance. Jeff Katurba is calling on you for help next.
Whoa. It's a new monument that captures a shocking era in America.
Every name has its own story.
Hear the history before it opens. 60 Minutes, Sunday.
This Sunday morning, a miracle of technology helping the paralyzed to walk again. Plus, keeping it cool with Ice Cube. It's all coming right up.
Being an editorial cartoonist can be difficult at times, always trying to come up with the perfect captions to go with your drawing. This week, Jeff Katurba is asking for your help, hoping you'll come up with an out-of-this-world idea.
I'm Jeff Katurba. I am the editorial cartoonist for the Omaha World-Herald. If you know anything about me, then you know I love all things space. I love thinking about space and drawing about it too. 2 of my cartoons even flew aboard Space Shuttle Discovery. Once, after drawing a cartoon about space aliens, I received a call from our security desk. The security guard said I had a visitor. When I explained that I wasn't expecting anyone, the guard insisted I come to the lobby. So I did. And what I found was this guy. When you're a cartoonist, some people think you're a little weird. Case in point, when I walked through the newsroom with my new friend, hardly anyone seemed to notice or care. Or if they did, they probably thought, he's the cartoonist. As you also may know, I have a monthly caption contest where you, the reader, get to team up with me to come up with a cartoon. I provide the drawing and you come up with the words. So I got to thinking, why not draw a silly alien on a distant planet? He's either giving a speech or maybe he's singing a strange opera. Who knows? That's up to you to figure out. Here's hoping for some funny ideas that aren't too weird, right?
Where do you find one of those dolls? That's all for this week. Thanks for watching Omaha Sunday Morning. We'll see you back here next week.